What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and I'm back. I've got 4 picks I've already put down, which I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Yes, we are back. I did get the hundreds of emails, Instagram messages, tags on Discord about where is the video. I missed today. I did put a post out on YouTube to explain the reason why. Being transparent with you guys, needed a little bit of load management, a little bit of Kawhi Leonard, a bit of Ben Simmons. It has been an absolute grind getting these picks out to you every single day, working full time, having kids, yada, yada, yada. I was starting to get a little bit tired. That's a lie. I was very tired, exhausted, burnt out. And you could see it in the quality of my videos. You can see it in the quality of my picks. They've been absolutely terrible. Needed a day to freshen up. For those of you guys who didn't know, my full-time job, I work in the insurance sector. This time of year, the insurance space extremely busy. So work's been kicking my ass, content's been kicking my ass, and these bets haven't been delivering. So I thought I'll do the right thing, take a day off, freshen up, come back with vengeance. And that's what we're here to do today. Quick recap of where things have been. The last few videos I've done, they haven't been great. Had some reverse sweeps, had a monster day a couple of days ago. We made 30 plus units profit in VIP. And then since then, it's been pretty downhill. So hopefully trying to right some wrongs, freshen up, get some good picks out to you guys. So I've got 4 of those today. No deep dive, obviously, given how short I've been with time and the lot. I'm filming this 2 to 3 hours later than I normally would. So it's going to be another late night for me. But if we sweep in all these picks, I think it's all worth it. So enough of that. Let's get into these picks, shall we? Let's go. So we're jumping into Props Madness. This is the best tool you're going to find if you like betting on NBA player props. If you're interested in checking this out, 7-day free trial below. Plus, you'll get 25% off your first month when you use the code DAFT when you sign up. Also, a reminder, doing a giveaway for those who sign up to Vivid Picks. New partner of mine, if you sign up, deposit $5, take a screenshot, send me an email, put you in a draw to win $100 once we hit 50 referrals. I'll leave links for that in the video description below. Plus, I'll give you access to my VIP picks as well. So feel free to check that out. I haven't gone through all of these games, being transparent with you guys. I kind of went through this real quick, found the easy ones, well, the games that I think will be easy, got a few bangers that I like. So after I film this, edit it, send it out to everybody. I'll be doing more dives, don't you worry about that. But I did want to get some content out. So the first couple of picks, let's go through them. First one, we're looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo today against the Toronto Raptors. This was one the minute I saw the slate, I already knew what I was going to take here. And for Giannis, we're looking at it under in his points, 29.5 points, looking to go under. Now, Giannis has gone over this in 16 out of 27 games. He's somewhat consistent in his usage rate, minutes played, all that type of stuff, shot attempts. But I don't know, when I've noticed over the last couple of years, whenever it's Giannis versus the Raptors, something weird happens and he doesn't see the volume. Like, he doesn't play bad, still plays good. But check this out. These are 2 games against the Toronto Raptors this season, 23 points and 11 points. Both of these games, the Milwaukee Bucks won comfortably. The spread in this game is 11, so the books think the Bucks are going to win comfortably once again. And in both of these games, what you'll see here, he was 9 from 12 in the first game. In the second game, he was 5 from 8. So just not seeing the volume that you'd need to cover or score 30 points. If we look at last season's numbers, looking at head-to-head stuff for Giannis, only scored 16 points, only took 11 shots. So the Toronto Raptors, they've got a specific way of playing defense on Giannis, from the double team, setting bodies, just getting the ball out of his hands. They still give up points to everybody, don't get me wrong. It's not like they're an elite defensive team, but they do have a way to slow down Giannis. What I've noticed is his shot attempts definitely drop off, but his assist numbers are strong too. Check this out, 7 and 13 assists in the 2 games. Limited minutes, 33 and 29, because they're pretty comfortable wins. And despite that, Giannis' assist numbers are fantastic. Potential assist numbers are crazy. Check it out. 22 potential assists, 14 potential assists. So if he's not shooting the ball and those potential assist numbers are sky high, it's pretty clear that there's a defensive scheme going on here. Giannis would love to dunk and throw down 50 points on everybody if he could, but the Raptors are just forcing the ball out of his hand. And I don't see why they changed that. Like, what's the better alternative here? Let's not force him to pass it. Let's let him drive on poor Jakob Poeltl all night. Like, it just makes too much sense to me to just keep riding this type of bet. It's a sort of a system play, Giannis versus the Raptors. So I'm taking his under here, 29.5. I believe this opened at 30.5. So I'm sure I'm not the only person who was thinking this is a great way to bet against Giannis. It's been bet down from 30.5. It probably moves to 28.5 given how straightforward this play looks. At 28.5, would we still play it? I think so, because if he's not going to take the volume, it's going to be very difficult for Giannis. And the other thing you got to factor in this game, it's an 11-point spread. The Bucks have won comfortably in 2 games against them. The books are expecting them to win comfortably as well. We could see a blowout. We could see Giannis see some limited minutes. We are in the middle of January after all, and at this time of year, these players start to get a little bit tired. So Doc Rivers hopefully allowing Giannis to get some load management in towards the end of this game, but I don't think Giannis scores the points today. You could take either. You could take a pivot. You can take Giannis over his assist if you really like, because I think that's a good angle as well. They both tell us the same story. I'm going with the under today. I bet too many overs. We've got to take some more unders. I've got another underplay coming up too. So Giannis under 29.5 points. The next couple of plays I have are in this next game between the Charlotte Hornets and the Chicago Bulls. I think this game presents some great betting opportunities. They normally do when these teams collide. I've got a couple that I like here. So the first one I want to share with y'all is on Zach LaVine. So for Zach LaVine, I'm looking at an under today. I took an under 27.5. I think half the books have 27.5s as well. Some are down to 25.5. Now at 26.5, yeah, I'd still definitely play this. 25.5, I'd probably consider only at plus money. But I got this at 27.5, so let's talk about it. At 27.5, we've got he's hit the under in 15 out of his last 27 games. The reason why I like the under here against Zach LaVine is I feel like this number is still elevated, purely based on this stretch where he had 6 consecutive games where he scored 30 plus points. Since then, he's had 2 soft matchups between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Atlanta Hawks, and he only scored 25 and then 15 points in those games. I think Zach LaVine started to return back to normal. That superhuman Zach LaVine does not exist anymore, and he's crashing back down to earth. Another thing I like about this play is that Ayo Dosunmu. He's a game-time decision, but he's extremely likely to play. And with Ayo Dosunmu in the lineup, Zach LaVine's gone under this line in 20 out of 27 games this season. So Zach's production definitely drops off with Ayo back in. The other reason I like it, the matchup's pretty difficult. If you just look here at his play type analysis, Zach LaVine scoring 25% of his points in transition. The Charlotte Hornets, 7th fewest points in transition. Their average matchup in the pick and roll spot, but even in isolation, with Zach scoring 15% of his points, the Hornets 6 fewest points in isolation. If we run some head-to-head numbers here, earlier this season, 13 points against the Charlotte Hornets. He played 34 minutes. He was only 4 from 11. You could say he struggled in that one. If we look at last year's head-to-head numbers, 2 games against the Hornets, 15 points and 9 points. And the Hornets were awful at defense last year as well. So Zach LaVine has really struggled in these matchups. I actually went on StatsMuse and dived a little bit deeper to say, like, what's going on? How long has this been happening for? And when I looked, it was pretty amazing. Zach LaVine is under this line against the Charlotte Hornets in 15 straight games dating all the way back to 2019. Now, the Charlotte Hornets have been an awful basketball team that whole time. Zach LaVine has struggled against them regardless. So a little bit of a historical trend if you're into all that type of stuff. But there's just too many reasons for me to take the under here for Zach LaVine. He's not going as well as he was during that hot stretch. The line is still crazy high. The matchup is still somewhat difficult. Dosunmu's likely to be back, so Zach's not going to see as many opportunities as he has been. It all just makes too much sense to me. I'm betting Zach LaVine to go under his points prop today. As I said, 27.5 is what I got. I'd play this at 26.5 as well. 25.5 only if you're getting excellent odds at plus money. So Zach LaVine under in points is what I'm looking at there. My next one, and we've got to go to this man, Mark Williams. He's an absolute beast. He's made me upset a few times in the last couple of days. Let's talk about it. So I bet on him when he had this monster game against Phoenix where he scored 24 points. That was the day we won 30-something units profit, right? Mark Williams was a big part of that. Then against the Utah Jazz, he goes for 31 points in that game, destroys it on the boards. And the reason why that hurt my feelings is because in that game, I happened to bet on Walker Kessler to have a strong game, and he did not. Mark Williams absolutely killed him. And I'm betting on Mark Williams to kill it again today. So the bet that I'm taking is his points plus assists. I took it at 17.5. Now, on the season, he's only hit this in 5 out of 15 games. The Charlotte Hornets just traded away Nick Richards. Mark Williams is not on a minutes restriction anymore. His last 2 games, 29 and 36 minutes. What I did was I played with some filters here, and I wanted to look at games where he plays at least 25 minutes. That's a really conservative number to see what we're dealing with here. And check this out. When Mark Williams plays at least 25 minutes, he's over this points and assists line in 5 out of 6 games averaging 22.5 points and assists. That's well over the 17.5. I feel like this line is just way too low for what he's capable of. He also has a fantastic matchup here against the Chicago Bulls. Let's talk about this. Looking at play types, you can see he scores in the pick and roll, obviously. And this Chicago Bulls team is the worst team in the league at defending the pick and roll. They allow the most points in that fashion. He also scores getting putbacks, getting to the free throw line, posting up barely. But most of his play types, the Chicago Bulls ain't good at defending. He also scores 82% of his points in the restricted area right under the basket. The Chicago Bulls, second most points in that area of the floor. I think Mark Williams covers this 17.5 points and assists in points alone. So if this line does move, yeah, I would definitely take it. I think Mark Williams continues to be an absolute beast here. The only reason I'm not betting on his rebounds, he does have that Vucevic matchup where, Vucevic has the potential to pull him out of the paint. He did have 22 points and assists against the Chicago Bulls earlier this season. He scored 20 points. He did have 2 assists in that game. He managed to play 31 minutes. So if he does something like that, I'd be pretty happy. He did have 12 rebounds in that game from 17 chances. His rebound, you can look at to add that. You can really just run with his points or his points and assists or his whole PRA. But I really like the idea of the points and assists. He could get that real quick. Whereas with rebounds, I think he's got to play a steady amount of game time. So I'm wrong with the points and assists. But with Mark Williams, you really can't go wrong with him today. So I really like what he's going to be able to do. That's my third pick I wanted to share with you. The fourth and final pick that I've got down is on my man Julius Randle. So this was the first pick that I put down today. And being completely transparent with you guys, when I was looking at this Timberwolves versus Knicks game, I was originally looking at Anthony Edwards, right? Anthony Edwards, capable of some crazy games. This game's being played at the Garden, yada, yada, yada. So the thing that I know about the New York Knicks is they are the worst team in the league at defending pick and roll ball handlers. Karl Anthony Towns plays in drop coverage. They just give up points in the pick and roll, the most points in the league. Anthony Edwards had a similar type of matchup up against the Detroit Pistons. And I remember calling this out. Like, I wouldn't bet he's under despite how bad he's playing right now, purely because how good this matchup is. Anthony Edwards went ahead and scored 53 points. He went crazy. Now, he's up against the Knicks. And the reason why I didn't bet it is knowing the Knicks aren't good at defending the pick and roll. I wanted to see how does Anthony Edwards play when he plays the bottom 10 teams in the pick and roll space. And look at this. Even though he's had an excellent matchup in all of these games, Anthony Edwards only hit this line in 4 out of 11. So I'm not saying to bet he's under. I'm just explaining why I didn't bet he's over. And then I remembered the whole revenge game narrative thing. And normally I don't buy into this, but given the circumstances here and what we saw in this matchup earlier this season, I'm willing to play it. So Julius Randle, in his last matchup against the New York Knicks in late December, he scored 24 points in that game. The Minnesota Timberwolves lost that game by 26 points. It was an absolute blowout. He doesn't play the fourth quarter, but he had 24 points. He was also super aggressive. Check this out. 15 of his points were in the first quarter. He took 8 attempts. He made 3 3-pointers, got to the free throw line. Like, this man was possessed. And this was a game played in Minnesota, traveling back to the Garden where he spent a lot of his years. I think Julius Randle is going to be motivated for this one. He's shown us this year that he can make it happen. Anthony Edwards has shown us this year that he can't be relied on. So I'm rolling with Julius Randle here. I do like his over. I got it at 19.5. It's moved to 20.5 on some books, and I would still play it there, if I'm being honest with you guys. So I like Julius Randle to go over his points prop. So that's the 4 picks that I've got for y'all. Had to pause the video, go feed this guy, but I thought I've got to come back and wrap this thing up so I can get it out to you. And then I remembered having this guy on the stream, and the video has been a bit of a good luck charm for us. Did you know that? Whenever you're on here, we happen to have a win day, my boy. So it's good to have you here. You woke up at the right time. And hopefully you get to some green today. There's a lot of games out. I'm sure there's a lot of great opportunities. I do ask, like the video. If you did, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. What's your best bet of the day? If I find something I love that you guys put down there, I'll be sure to tail it. I'll give you guys some credit in the last video. It's time we bounce back, and I think today's the day we do it. I do wish you all the best of luck. Hope your slip's green out. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.